Ikurudu. Kids are being abducted at Ekpe. Now I'm saying the one at Badminton. Yes, that's the one they are being. And so kids are being abducted, and then it's happening across, maybe not that well publicized, but it's happening, across the country. As a matter of fact,
it's not all BH.
No, it's not all BH either. Some other bad guys are doing that. But having said that, I think the issue of school security looms large here because this was a preventable situation. There were all kinds of indications that this didn't need to happen, but it did happen. And so we need to go in there, in fact, at some point in time, as part of this healing process, go in and find out really who did drop the ball in that Chibok situation, because this has really given us so much notoriety in this world that, it makes me ashamed as a Nigerian that, this kind of a thing could happen in my country. And for so long, it's still not resolved, even as we speak. Just a few are back, 10% of the girls came back. So school security is very critical because you have a large group of young, vulnerable population in there, and these predators can just go in there and take any number for whatever reason, for whether it's for profit kidnap or for, in the case of Boko Haram, for jihadism. They can go in there and take any number, and it can still happen to today. I mean, of course that happened. I mean, right now, even as you and I speak, we have hundreds, they're in the hundreds, perhaps maybe even thousands, we have hundreds of girls of the age of these girls that just came back now from the Chibok group who are still in captivity and with BH. So it's really very unfortunate. And but let's go back to the question you raised, the school security issue. So we need to strengthen our schools. First of all, what's the role of the governments, all governments, federal, state, local, in school security? They are supposed to set the guidelines. They are supposed to set the parameters for what is school security.
Do we have a guideline at all?
It doesn't exist because I wrote about this in my column several times when the Chibok thing occurred and many other school abductions occurred. Now, so they need to start setting those. They need to start looking at that because it's a serious thing. Even in the tertiary institutions, you have these serious security breaches also occurring there. We've had so many at BUK. We've had throat cuttings at Federal Polytechnic. Will be 40 throats slit by BH. So, they are so porous. So it's easy for anybody to go in there and then cause havoc. But now, having said that, we need to, the federal government at least, the state government, they need to set guidelines. Now, the operators or owners of schools, be they federal, state, or private, have to run the operation of securing their student populations because they own those schools. They are the ones who are giving the parents the assurance that your kids will come to school and they will have a good learning experience and they will go back to you safely. Safely, not abducted, not butchered, whatever. So this is what is really missing here. Nobody is being held accountable. So we need to now bring back this issue of accountability that, what needs to be done, and thank you for raising this awareness, what needs to be done in terms of setting up programs for school security. In the case of Chibok, for example, couldn't they have had armed personnel, armed soldiers on duty that day since schools were out anyhow, and these were the only people doing this physics exam on that fateful day? Couldn't they have had, more armed personnel in place? All the schools in Borno State were burned down to the ground. All of them were burned down to the ground by BH at the height of their rampage. That is all infrastructure that need to be built up, and that is, much of the state is in rubble right now. So please, Alero and Madam Otaibe, if you guys don't get anything I'm saying, don't send these children back to any of these schools right now. The area is not secure enough, unless it's in Maiduguri metropolis. Outside of that place, much of the state is in rubble. Don't send them anywhere because there's this conversation going on, and there's this group think going on that, oh, we want to show that things are okay. It's not okay. Those children are just going to be slaughtered unnecessarily, and then we'll just be here again talking about it and wringing our hands.
Okay. No. You're a security expert.
Yes,
Still staying on this school security, because it is now a national issue. We're talking about school security nationwide. What would you be advising? You mentioned specifically private school owners.
Yes.
What would you be advising them to have as a basic? It's given. You must have this to secure the lives of the children who are coming to your school.
Well, first of all, you must have a program. You must have what we call a security program in every school. You must have a program that can deter intruders, kidnappers, whatever. You must have a program that can detect them. If you can't deter them, that is discourage them. That can detect them, that is find them out if they do it. You must have a program that can delay the removal of people or the perpetration of evil acts in your school. That can delay the bad guys. Even if they do penetrate, you detect them and they don't stop, and that can now delay them. Things, what do we mean by delay? In US schools, you have, even here too, I even advocated during the height of the Boko Haram reign, you should have metal doors in classrooms and in dormitories, such that if the bad guys penetrate and an alarm is sounded, the children should go and congregate and lock. You know, and lock. I mean, that will delay their
security doors.
It will take security doors. Not necessarily the expensive one we import from Turkey everywhere in Nigeria. We know we waste our foreign exchange. The Ojoguns, I'm sorry, what do you call them? Welders. The welders, they do them here. Those things are ballistic. They will resist bullets. You know, and you put those, and I mean, you paint them, let them look nice, let them be fashionable. You know, you put them on these things. You know, the thing is, and the last one, of course, is deny or destroy. It's called the 4 Ds of security. Now, that means you must have a response force that will be able to come in and give assistance. In the case of Chibok, Chibok is a very good case study. In the case of Chibok, it took 5 hours for the military to access that community. And of course, Boko Haram, they had gone to sleep. They had even dreamt and woken up by the time the military got to the scene. So it's very unfortunate. So I think we must have a security program. And so there are different things you do in these 4 Ds I've said. Having personnel, equipment, but just good even being aware what you are saying right now. Course, just being aware that there's a problem. Too. And it's everywhere today, like you said, till today.
Okay. We just go on a very quick break, and Sunrise will be back still on this discussion. Stay with us. Now let's go over to our Abuja studios, and this question is for Buki. Let's talk about, there's this allegation of a franchise between the Bring Back Our Girls group and you know, this fundraising by the president's daughter.
Yes, allegation. Well, what happened with that is the fact that the Bring Back Our Girls, hashtag Bring Back Our Girls, is synonymous to, you know, us. And by us, I mean those who have been using that hashtag to advocate